Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the UKLC. We're getting ready to go into our first game of the day. Now, these are two teams that are 1 point away from each other at the moment. A little bit low down in the tables, but, you know, still an important win for these guys to keep their playoff dreams alive. What are we making of them at the moment?
I mean, for me, it's been a little while since Viperio picked up a win. I'm trying to think. I think it was a few weeks ago versus Lucent. I think it's the last time they picked up a win.
Yeah.
Bulldog,
wow.
however, they've been picking up wins sporadically. I think they're sort of like 2 for 3 in their last 3, for example. So Bulldog, for me, they come in looking a little bit better. And also, Viperio, they subbed in Dakin, finally. If you remember, Dakin, when we spoke to their manager all the way back in week 1, he said, yeah, Johnny Rico is going to be here for week 1, maybe week 2, and then Dakin's going to be starting as the jungler. But we're now at week 6 and the substitutions finally happened. It just feels a little bit out of place for me, just in the sense of Johnny Rico's been playing fine, at least to me. In fact, I'd say Johnny Rico's been one of the sort of underlying best parts about Viperio. Obviously, you know, there's a lot to talk around Topi's picks and then obviously Kun as well, but Johnny Rico was putting in work behind the scenes, it felt like. So to sub in Dakin so far into the split, especially in a role like jungle, which is so vocal typically in a lot of teams, it does strike me as a bit odd. It wasn't the best game either in general for Viperio yesterday, but hopefully today versus Bulldog, they can maybe show a slightly different side to themselves.
Yeah, we'll have to see. Anyway, we're getting through into the champ select. We've got the Gwen, the set taken away from the side of Bulldog, followed up by the Tryndamere, bit of a target ban of Topi, and then the Viego and the Xin Zhao banned away by Viperio. They're looking for their final ban. We're on 11-13 now. So is it still Strikebreaker Nocturne, or
yeah,
are we not?
Nocturne's still pretty good. And he was pretty
It's weaker, right? It's weaker though.
A tad, but I don't think it's that much of a difference.
It's still first pickable. It's still first pickable.
Yeah.
It's gone from definitely banned to first pickable. That's where we're at with it now. Cool.
Yeah. However, this does leave the Akali up because Bulldog removed Tryndamere in place of the Akali ban. If Viperio play it, this is going to be a pretty big rotation for them if they want. Set's gone, so there's no, Set Diana in this rotation. But honestly, when Nocturne's the first pick champion on the enemy team, you don't really want to give over Akali in the same rotation. But let's see, because Tristana's the first lock-in, and typically it feels like when you see Tristana in the first rotation, it's usually a jungler that goes with it. It's not traditionally a mid laner or a solo lane.
So I was like, wait, what did I miss? Jungle Tristana, jungler with it. Okay. That honestly really got me for a minute. I was like, wait, Jungle Tristana's the meta now? What the hell is going on?
A Jungle Trist was a thing for a little while. Ways back.
Yeah. Do you remember AP W Max Trist back in the day? Back mid lane Trist? Yeah. Jump on them and just Goomba stomp them. That was great. It's the Nautilus. So unless it's Nautilus jungle, not looking to pick up their jungler yet. We're moving over to Bulldog. See what they're going to look to lock in here. Maybe something that can handle with the Nautilus. I mean, you've got things like the Fresh and things as well that can, you've got the Flays and stuff, but it looks like they're just going to lock in the Leona so we can kind of start the fights for the team with a big solar flare. And wonder if they just go for an AD here. Get a nice bot lane put together.
Yeah, you could get a nice bot lane put together. Thresh Pass at Felios was up if they wanted it as an option, but I feel like Viperio could have realistically had a few too many scary options into it. So I actually like that they div it away from it. Diana, honestly, makes a fair amount of sense. Very surprised to see Akali slip through this far. Does kind of say to me, potentially, Bulldog as a team either don't prioritize it that much or just don't play it outright, because, I mean, the champion strength is absolutely bonkers when it comes to Akali. Final pick over to Viperio for the first rotate. Fiddlesticks. Wow, okay. So, needed an AP jungler. And, I mean, wait, what did you... Yeah, Akali is...
So, Akali's open, but they take Fiddlesticks anyway.
It's fine. I mean, I don't mind it. I think Fiddlesticks is surprisingly strong on this patch. Definitely a little bit underrated. I think the last couple of weeks, especially in a place like LEC where we saw, I think it was Inspired run it in tandem with the Nocturne, because obviously Nocturne turns out the lights. Fiddlesticks ult, you get the free fear.
It's horror.
Without much counterplay.
Genuine horror.
Genuine horror. I mean, 2 of the scariest champions in League of Legends when you think about some of it, to be honest. But yeah, Viperio going to remove away Thomas Goes Jace. I think another AD ban, AD mid lane ban. Likely to be the case here. Perhaps something like the Lucian would probably make the most sense for Viperio, as I'm gonna wager that they're probably gonna chuck this Tristana mid lane. However, still obviously room for flexibility as a Bulldog remove away the Yone from Topi. They don't want to see him on that one, and I wonder if they're going to continue going down these AD mid lane bans, because they do have the Nocturne if they want to chuck that into the mid lane for themselves.
We'll see what the final ban is going to be here for the side of Bulldog. Are they going to look to pinch the mid lane pool a little bit? I mean, Topi has a very wide and crazy pool, so yeah, could just let's try and put us on off comfort and onto something maybe a bit more standard, which sometimes is actually a weakness for some players. So we'll see what they're going to look to ban away. There goes the Akali as the final ban. So they are going to deny it in the end. It was the final ban of this game, as Viperio now looking to pick up either a top laner or a mid laner, unless that's mid lane Tristana. They're kind of keeping the flex alive at the moment. I'm not sure how Tristana does, though, into something like a mid lane Nocturne, so might be waiting to see exactly where that Nocturne is going first, as they're knocking the Renekton. Yeah,
Renekton still kind of keeps their cards close to their chest for Viperio. You know, Renekton top mid, Trist mid bot. Still a lot of flexibility there between where those picks can go, especially when you've already got your AP jungler locked in. So Bulldog definitely needs an AD carry or a bottom laner, maybe something like Ziggs for Jacob, because he's locked it a lot. We'll have to see as Ornn comes out. So more or less saying that Nocturne should be Thomas Goes. Coke, us main tank of Romania, let's not forget, of course. So likely to be in his hands, and let's see what this final lock-in is going to be. Has to be a bottom laner for Jacob.
I actually want something in team fight.
Yeah,
I think when you look at Bulldog's team here, you've got Paranoia, you've got the Moonfall, you've got the Solar Flare, you've got the Call of the Forge God. Like, a team fighting comp is going to be really obnoxious to fight against. And as you go for the Ezreal, so you can kind of set up for the fights with Lunch Poke and then Trish Shot Barrage and all of the AoE, and kind of the fact that everyone kind of will get clumped together by this Bulldog comp. Not a bad pick, actually. I like that. And we'll see what the answer is going to be here for the side of Viperio, because it is Tristana and it is Nautilus. I kind of expect the Tristana to get like hard shove into the Ezreal just because of the fact that your E naturally does the AoE damage. So maybe they'll just be looking for a mid laner here. And Topi looking to play into something that can also get its own priority on its own, and actually really nice into Bulldog's comp, just completely shutting down them from getting into close range because of that wall. I actually quite like the Anivia here.
To play devil's advocate, I actually don't think it's that great. I say devil's advocate. Ornn can break the wall. A lot of these champions can a lot of these champions can just dash over it or ignore it. In lane, it might be okay. It might be okay in lane at best, but Nocturne probably should be able to, you know, keep priority in most cases.
Pretty sick, definitely. 6. Yeah.
I wonder how the spell shield interaction actually works, because with Sivir, you can only block the damage or the stun. You can't block both.
I assume it works exactly the same.
I wonder if Nocturne spell shield works the exact same, or whether it's going to block out the entire spell. I'm
going to say
it's a strange place to pick Anivia.
He's an old champion.
Chimera on the line.
He's an old champion, mate. He probably works just like Sivir in that sense. Yeah. Man, I was obviously accounting for the fact that you have the dashes, but like, you know, you don't want Ezreal to dash over the Anivia wall and leave his front line behind, right? But then the fact that Ornn can just headbutt through the wall, it's like, oh man, what do I do into that? What do you do? Yeah, maybe you might be right, actually. The Anivia might not be the most optimal pick. I still quite like it as a champ. I think, you know, especially if that stun works on the Nocturne through his spell shield. Post 6, gonna get a lot of lane priority. You're just gonna shove in lane, and Anivia drags games out. That is what she does. She really drags games out.
Yeah, but I don't know if she gets to drag a game like this out, potentially, just because of the amount of agency that Bulldog have in their composition in terms of making fights just kind of happen. You know, if we see a longer form game, which seems to be the evolving meta at the moment, which is a bit strange, sort of specific to the UKLC, we're starting to see slightly longer games in recency, then obviously Anivia can get some value. But if we see, you know, an accelerated game where Bulldog all of a sudden kind of just grab, you know, a 2,000-3,000 gold lead, and then they just start pressing their R keys off cooldown, I don't know how Viperio are going to be able to handle it. They've got some decent-ish self-build tools, but beyond that, they're likely going to struggle a bit if they do fall behind. So I do worry in that front. But if we see, you know, this Fiddlestick sort of come online, I think most importantly, watch out for the first Crowstorm. I sort of like to treat Nocturne ultimate as, rather a Fiddlestick's ultimate, kind of like how you would treat the first global ultimate of most champions like Nocturne or Twisted Fate. You can kind of gauge how successful the pick is likely to be off of the first usage of the ultimate. So keep our eyes on Dakin as he likely tries to fast track to level 6 and see where he attacks first, because honestly, his lane options not necessarily that great. You'd likely look towards the bottom lane as the main priority for Dakin to try and get a gank in.
Yeah, absolutely. This is, you know, how these champions work, is can you influence the map? It's kind of the same thing for Thomas Go, though. You know, his first ultimate, Let's see if he can find some impact with that. Paranoia, so horrible to fight into. As Topi just going to be able to pick up that ward, so that gives him a slight advantage in the experience area.
Yeah, could be a big deal. Giving Anivia level 2 on first wave could actually sway the priority in this lane. We'll have to keep our eyes on it, actually. But generally speaking, I mean, Nocturne, yeah, half the wave's HP gone into abilities and an auto attack. Likely just gonna not care about Anivia too much, though he can't eat, you know, a crazy amount of poke. Does have a lot of the sustain in the corrupt spots, but Topi can just auto attack him down.
Yeah, Thomas going now and instantly move in and try and find himself Dakin, although Dakin gonna finish up his buffs. That pink ward that was placed down by Dakin earlier. They knew where he was. They saw him, and now Topi got that level 2, so he gets the stun off, and oh my lord, that's obnoxious.
Is very, very potent. And I mean, honestly, if Topi had Ignite there, for example, which some Anivia players do actually like to run Ignite at the level 2, he would have probably just died or forced to splash out. As Tomsko kind of playing with fire, still level 1.
Yeah, he's dead. I mean, oh, he leveled up in time.
Oh my god,
he is so lucky.
Didn't even flash. All right, man. Tomsko should have died right there. That was pure greed walking up, not flashing the Q either. But hey, all right, still alive.
Calculated, mate.
Calculated, sure. And now Lula's actually trying to wrap around. See if he can find Topi, because Topi, you can tell, really wants the kill. There's a ward in this brush. And now Topi gonna hover towards the bottom side, so.
Instantly walks away. Yeah. he's wasting time though, by he's doing some pretty good acting here. Some pretty good acting.
It is very good, because I mean, you sort of take a look at where the junglers both are. Dakin's finishing up his wolves, and he's going to be able to farm up the blue buff and the grump at the exact same time. And I mean, look at the Q. Oh, he Qs and it hits the creep and levels him up. Wow. I don't even know if he was doing that intentionally. I think he was just trying to trade back with Topi.
That is some sad boy hours right there. It's Shader just trading onto Coates is unfortunately how on lane goes, and then eventually he one-shots you because he's an assassin.
Yeah, exactly. All of that percent HP damage does start to stack up. Brittle procs certainly can be pretty oppressive. And let's see what Coates can actually bring to the team with this Ornn pick. Did run it yesterday. Sure. So obviously something he's very comfortable on. And I mean, you don't get the nickname Tank or Arminia for nothing. So
yeah. I mean, every time we look mid lane, Thomas Go is low HP. He's Thomas Low.
Oh, okay. You know, that's kind of flamey, you know, because people call other players low, like low elo.
No, I mean Thomas Low HP. What do you want?
Okay, all right. Just gotta make sure. Bro.
Could you imagine if I was calling players low elo? Like, Jesus.
Yeah, no, irony's not lost on me. Nice wall, actually, by Topi. Just trying to sort of keep the wave.
Oh, you like the wall now, do you?
I mean, push back on the creep wave to try and keep it as frozen back as possible to force out the teleport from Thomas Go, yes. But it would have frozen in front of the lane anyway, but it's all about the intention for me.
I haven't really seen too much from this bot lane. It's actually heavily in favor of Jacob in the CS department. He's got a 10 CS lead over Kumkum. And still got his pot. Kumkum's had to burn his. And bot lane, you know, it not quite gone the way I expected. I thought the Tristana was going to be able to get a really solid shove in. But we've been paying attention to mid lane, so I'm not entirely sure what happened down here.
Yeah, definitely very interesting. Of course, been focused a little more on the mid lane, the junglers, a little bit on the top lane too. Stun Lawless. I mean, support matchup isn't too great for Naught. Typically, Leona is, you know, considered a pretty strong counter. I think realistically, in lane, sure, but after that, you're kind of just trading engage support for engage support. But could have something to do with that. As priority in the bottom side, pretty consistent priority in the mid lane. Gonna secure Lulis and the rest of Bulldog is first Infernal Dragon. See what the next dragon will be. Looks like an ocean, so Cloud or Mountain. Both in this game for me, pretty impactful. Just because of the amount of very high impact ultimates in the game, as yeah, Coates just hit level 6.
He's got that Call of the Forge God. The Brittle does so much damage. Shader knocked up. He's going very, very low. One more Brittle proc will do it. Shieda about to be able to get away to safety is Thomas. Oh my lord, you are taking so much health.
Okay. Yeah, It's just Anivia's trading power in lane. They buffed it at the start of this year. I think it actually could have been in preseason. So one of the two, either way, they buffed up the amplified damage and just the base damage of the E in general. You can see it definitely coming to fruition, even into a champion like Nocturne, who's got so much sustain. And even the spell shield to deal with some of the damage. Not able to block out on all of it.
Definitely having a bit of a rough one there for Thomas Go, but he's doing all right in the farm department. Got himself a lead over Topi. Although I do now expect Topi just to be able to catch these waves with relative ease, as Lulis hanging in the wings. Dakin was also here. No Crow Storm available and no Moonfall. Call of the Forge got on cooldown, but Shieda has that Dominus, and it's going to pop it. Looking to grab in as they find the 6, and that's the paranoia. Thomas Go is going to flash forward. He's not going to be able to break the fear. Yes, he is. First blood to Thomas Go.
All right, great. Thomas Go got first blood. Lulis just had a bit of a nightmare of his own in the river. Hopefully the replay might capture some of what just happened on the bottom of the screen. But yeah, we saw Shader kind of commit a little bit forward there, or rather Coates committed forward, and then Dakin tried to respond. And in the bottom side of the screen, I think actually the picture's covering it. But Lulis tried to blast Cone over the wall into the river, failed it, and then flashed over the wall to try and get involved in the fight. And still didn't get involved in the fight. It is a bit sad, but first blood still goes over to Thomas Go, and that's still gold in his back pocket, which he will certainly more than be happy with. Positive play all in all for Bulldog. Not be too upset about it.
His bot lane slightly getting better down here to the side of King Kim. He's not down quite as bad, but Topi, even with the fact that Thomas Go has roamed, is struggling in the farm department compared to his lane opponent, considering he spent so much time bullying. Now he's the one who's struggling. Great little spell shield there to block out the amplified Everfrost.
Yeah, it's certainly curious. I mean, Anivia, not the easiest champion in the world to CS with in the early stages, and when Topi was focusing so hard on the harass side of things, definitely pretty plausible that he's behind, considering Thomas Go was practically playing to survive in CS only, under all of the pressure. I mean, Thomas Go should start to slowly grow a bit of a gold lead, considering he's got that first blood in his pocket too.
Oh, here comes the call of the Forge God. Shieda dashes straight back out, but he's been knocked up. These brittle procs doing some serious damage as he's knocked up again. Gonna eat the Bellows Breath, and Coates just assassinates the Crocodile.
Yeah, a bit of disrespect from Shieda there. Didn't actually have Dominus available to him, just came off cooldown now. If he had that ultimate, maybe a little more wiggle room for that 1v1, but didn't have flash. Coach still had flash. Didn't even blow it on this 1v1 either. Coach just outright winning up. Get the trade, goes in. Barrel proc just so much when he comes in. Stun early doesn't mean the Call of the Forge God recast is blocked, and well, one more barrel proc is enough to do it.
Jamada, I need to check because it's loud. Can you hear the rainstorm going on outside?
Oh yeah, there was thunder and lightning not too long ago.
I mean through my microphone, because it is actually crazy loud. I've got noise cancelling headphones on, so I normally can't hear anything going on outside.
Yeah,
and even I can hear it here. I haven't had sun in 2 weeks. It's summer, by the way, and it has rained every day for 2 weeks consistently, and like
we got that
heavy rain.
We got that week stint. Maybe it was 2 weeks. I actually can't remember. It felt like it lasted a while, to be fair, of just like heat, humidity, blue skies, and now all of a sudden nature wants to repay us. As there is a congregation in the mid lane right now. 5 members. Lulis also walking from base back to mid lane as well. I mean, Arce's now here.
Oh, Dakin's getting spotted out.
Yeah, and that's a big deal. Not knowing where Fiddlesticks is a large portion of why you'd be so scared of him. Now they know he's on the bottom side for sure.
We're going to slow him down as they land the damage to get the hook, but he is able to spell shield it. As here comes Lord the Scout, the True Shot Barrage connects on, and the Paranoia into the Crow Storm. It is a cluster down here as Thomas Go burning down for the level that will save his life, and he's just about able to survive. The Ignite will not kill him. A double kill picked up for Lulis. Lulis dives underneath the tower, and Topi getting the wall off, forces the flash out, and they're able to get away.
Yeah, that can actually curiously, before he cast his armor, walked out of the bush, so didn't get the fear portion of his passive off. Could have actually been potentially a changing factor in that fight. If you think about some of the CC to come down, we'll get a replay. We'll show you exactly what I'm talking about. Just before he casts it, he just kind of walks out on the bottom of the screen. You'll see his name tag just sort of shows up. So he walks out, gains vision, or gives vision over to Bulldog. The fear doesn't come onto the Scout or Lulis. Can't double stack it or get extra damage. Thomas Go barely survives because the level up and the re-engage off Lulis with the move forward is enough to bring down Haas and Topi. Fortunate to escape. Does force out with the Scout Slash. Still. Bulldogs coming out ahead on top of that one. And the skirmish goes in their favor. And I did have my concerns about this Viperio draft, just in the sense of if Bulldogs start to pull ahead, how exactly will they survive? Because I feel like the agency tools, if used correctly by Bulldog here, even some of the wave clear available to the likes of an Anivia, it's going to kind of be null and void. You have to pay a little bit of worry to the Nocturnal, to the Fiddlesticks almost. I'm going to get them confused probably from trade this game. Pay a little bit of respect to Fiddlesticks Crystals, but other than that, you don't really have a whole bunch to worry about if you start to accrue a really large lead. And I mean, 3,000 gold at 12 minutes, not too shabby.
No, not at all by any means. Viperio now, it's on them to make these plays happen, to make them work, as Jacob might be receiving a Fiddlesticks over the wall. Also joined by a bird as they're bringing the teleport in, and Viperio able to dodge away and all the damage. Coates is coming in, and it looks like they forced a free teleport. They really got away with nothing for nothing.
Yeah, but you look at the mid lane right now, because it's Lulis and Herald. Yeah, it's actually a pretty good play from Coates to teleport down there and dissuade the dive, stops the cross map. They're going to get this entire mid tier 1. Top lane, if nothing happens here, if we could just get a look at the wave and how much she'd actually get. Just because it's crashed that wave, I think you got a plate. But generally speaking, it's a Viperio that commit 4 members to the bottom side of the map. They don't get anything outside of the teleport and they lose their mid tier 1. Upwards trade for Bulldog, the gold lead. Accelerated now to over 4,000 because of it.
And you said the current meta was starting to slow down.
I mean, I don't know if you've seen the last 3 days of UKLC. I know you didn't.
I was in 2 of them.
I know you was busy. You was here for the other 2.
Yeah, I know we've had some more extended games. I mean, we still have an Anivia, right?
Yeah, I mean, we do, but what's Anivia wave clear to a Nocturne ornament?
True. Also, she now doesn't have a tower, tier 1 tower. Taking out the Anivia tower is actually really big. Yeah, and they can just use the second one to siege the second mid tower and make sure she catches waves really shallow.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, the other option for me is you look at the top tier 1 tower at the moment. It's on 1 plate right now. So for Bulldog, if they're able to take that tower before they get the next Herald, and then they can even unlock that 600 gold waiting in that top tier 2, also another thing to consider. But yeah, like you say, this tier 1 in the mid lane gone. It's like, you know, all of the other hardcore wave clear champions, you know, Azir, Victor, Ziggs. You remove that tier 1, the power of the pick immediately sort of gets cut in half, if you will.
And that strike break has now been finished up onto Thomas. You've got the Proto Belt, you've got the Chains, you've got the Divine Thunderer. On the other side, it's components. They haven't finished up their items yet. So Bulldog got himself a pretty nice lead here as Dakin just going to get drained off a little bit onto Will the Scout.
Not much to say is Cope. Honestly, just Demolish proc might do it. It'll be close.
Yeah, there it is. Shieda now has to be oh so careful as the Dominus comes in and they've got the Call of the Forge God looking for the knock-up. He flashes away. I actually think he probably could have gone down to Coates there, so nice of him to do that. When you've got the when you've got Brittle extending CC duration and the Chains removing a percentage of his tenacity.
And actually
he's just finished up his chem tank.
Yeah, if I may observe, could we check whether Sheida's actually running tenacity in his runes? Because if he's not, he is in hard negative tenacity right now. Okay, he does. Yeah, it does look like he's running it. So he's got 15 tenacity right now, but tenacity reduction still a really big deal. Dakin is here, but I just don't know if they have the damage to burst through him, even if the fear connects.
He doesn't have the ulti, but Lulis maybe looking to come in, gets himself the Crescent Slash, but Shieda gonna be backing off by this point.
Yeah. Top side, pretty firmly won out by Coat, if you ask me. Thomas Go through a little bit of luck, maybe calculation. Didn't actually go down. Okay, thought maybe Dakin would cancel his recall. Thomas Go went out on his lane. Jacob pretty comfortably got through the lane against Tristan and Nautilus. Lulis certainly ahead on Dakin right now. So across the board leads, and gold lead kind of slightly in the last couple of minutes, growing even larger. 5,500 gold now. As gold highlighted on our screen, you can kind of see it's top to bottom. Gold lead everywhere. The only place where it's not substantial realistically is between the bottom laners of either team. It's all about the top side right now. Particularly the Order and Ecton lane. 2,000 plus gold. It's not a pretty place to be if you're an Ecton being behind. You start to kind of just turn into a walking meat sack. You're just a frontliner at that point. Not a lot of threat. Oh, Bulldog. 4 members down towards the bottom side. Dakin weighing in the wings, but honestly, I don't know what he would be able to do against that many members. Unfortunately, Bulldog do pick up play.
The true shot actually reveals that Kunkin was looking to reset. And Viperio, they can clear these wards out, but this tower going to get sieged up. The dragon going to get started. This will be the second dragon for them as the paranoia is on, and that is horrific. Yeah, Dakin just got dove on by everyone.
Yeah. Much to say about that one. Bulldog, they have the vision control to do that kind of stuff. They've been committing their numbers down here. They did it once, and Dakin didn't respect the fact that there could be vision on his Gromp. Gets paranoid and engaged on over the wall. And they will secure that dragon. Viperio, I'm not entirely sure what they can do from this point on. It's just going to have to be sort of hoping Bulldog start to make a couple of mistakes, get a little bit sloppy, complacent. Try and set up pockets of a fog of war if you're Viperio and just try and get some nice crow storms. It's about all you could really ask for at the moment. But Bulldog have done such a good job at just sort of meticulously approaching a lot of these areas of the map that it's going to be pretty hard, to be honest with you, for Viperio to even find those pockets of vision, if you ask me.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be very, very hard for them. Now, 18 minutes in, Mythics have finally been finished up for the side of Viperio, but Bulldog, you know, you've now got the ornaments starting to be coming in. You've got item leads already.
Yeah.
The amount of just raw statistics that Bulldog are going to be working with once Coates hits level 14, 15, it's just going to completely outweigh anything Viperio have.
Yeah, because I actually never looked into how much. Oh, face check here. Shouldn't really amount to much.
Oh, I don't know. They've got the call of the Forge God. He's going to get himself knocked up. The wall's placed down, but that does not matter as they find themselves the kill, and Thomas able to get away as well.
Yeah, I lied. That's what I just did. I'm sorry, viewers. I apologize. I do my best not to. Crocodile. Not long for the world. Oh, the scout.
Oh, Hex Splash.
The wall, engage.
Will the scout failed it, but that doesn't matter because the Moonfall's coming in. The egg is forced, and it's going to get scrambled as Topi's taken down. And Dakin crow storms over the wall to see his friends go down.
Yep. Topi looking like Chimera's dinner right now. Probably the best thing I can say. First death of the game, in all fairness, but the Anivia just hasn't been able to provide too much so far. And again, harping back to the draft, one of the few things I was worried about. One of the many, really. I say few. Tell a lie. Bulldog using their agency tools to near perfection right now. Not really giving Viperio much of anything to do anything anywhere. As we will get the replay of what just happened in the mid lane. Shida kind of just caught out, sat on a control ward, thought he was safe. It's just not his territory, not his position to be in. Doesn't have business to be here. Touch over the wall doesn't connect, but Lulis and Thomas go still dive. Moonfall comes in, too much damage for the Anivia. And Nautilus do with Hase and Topi go down, and very sad crow storm at the back end of it. No murder will be happening today.
Well, there was a murder, but
no Viperio murder.
Yeah,
will be happening.
I mean, they've still not found a win, a kill. Sorry, they have one tower and. That's it. That's the only thing. Oh, one tower, one dragon. Yeah. There's two little things that's stopping this from being a perfect game for Bulldog.
And honestly, games like these feel as bad as perfect games, to be honest. Just because, you know, oh, we had the room to secure a dragon, or hey, we got the bot tower and a trade cross map or whatever. I don't know. I'd rather get perfect games if I was a player, to be honest. Thomas, go.
That's how it works. There you go. You can't block the stun as you listen. Turn it around with the paranoia on. Stopwatch gets used by Topi for just a moment, but Thomas will run him down. No, he won't. Shutdown picked up, and now they're looking for the Ram in the top lane. Gonna pull out the Cooler before it's got the Ram jams on, and the Crocodile's gonna find himself knocked up, pulled in, and Coates says, "Get your Coach Shieda. You're out of here."
That was so late. But
they take 3 days off, and they're just like, I fall apart.
Yeah, it's okay. I mean, look, Bulldog, they're gonna start this Baron. I don't really think there's much Viperio can do about it. They might show up to the party. They might chuck a Crow Storm in there, but I don't know. It would be a pretty hard thing to make a Smite fight win, but will the Scout caught out?
Yeah, they got a lot of damage off, and Dakin not going to even need to use that Crow Storm. Teleport has come in on the flank, though, from Thomas Go, but Baron stopped, and
they don't know.
Ghost finds Crow.
Nightmare finds Nightmare.
Who would you rather run into? Nocturne or Fiddlesticks?
God. I mean, have you seen the Fiddlesticks cinematic trailer?
Yeah, well, that's the thing, is we haven't had one of those for Nocturne.
I mean, we had a really OG one way back, and even before, I think before.
Yeah, it's not quite the same level, right?
But did you see what Nocturne was? It was like an entire it was like a wall of just pure darkness from like as far as you can see left and right.
Well, his original lore was he was created from nightmares.
Yes, that's correct. I remember.
I don't know what his current lore is. I don't think he's actually had any recent lore.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. He might.
I think he's like a champion that's kind of forgotten by the lore department at the moment.
Huh.
I'd love to have some Nocturne lore, because the concept of them could be really cool. Also, killing Dakin's kind of cool as well, I guess.
Yeah, Dakin not having much lore this game either. Not much of a story about this Fiddlesticks game. As Anivia wave clear, not really going to do much against this Herald, and I mean, they should get 2 charges. They could even crack open the base, secure an inhibitor.
They're cooling. Yeah, they're cooling the goat, man, as the Bird's going to get knocked up. A great hook from Hase to interrupt as they look for the chase, but it's just going to be enough to zone him away. The inhibitor under fire. The stun connects onto Jacob as Hase will lose his life, and the egg is going to be cracked. Shieda goes down. The Rift Herald is denied another charge, but Bulldog have just taken everybody out. Dakin is going to have to find a monstrous Crow Storm to stop this game from ending. As the first tower will fall, they're going to look for the Crow Storm, and it's only onto the support. Bulldog will find themselves a convincing win in very fast fashion over the side of Viperio, but not before they farm the KDA. Not before a Nightmare kills a Nightmare. 24 minutes on the clock, and Bulldog find the win.
Yep, nightmare of a game for Viperio in this one. No real room for them to navigate this draft, and I mean, I just kind of had my concerns from the get-go. I felt like there were so many agency tools on Bulldog. They just looked on comfort, kind of like top to bottom. And they played it out nearly perfectly, in my opinion. I don't think there was much to talk about from the Bulldog point of view. It just felt like Viperio, there's just nowhere to really go, right? You know, the Fiddlesticks kind of has to wait till level 6 in most worlds to get things sort of going. By that point, you know, he already had a top lane that was losing. He tried to attack the top lane before he hit level 6, lost that skirmish, wasn't able to attack the bottom lane. The mid lane was kind of a back and forth, but Tomsko was never in lane enough to get ganked, so it just felt very, very bad. And it's a big win, though, for Bulldog, because, I mean, moves them up in the standings away from relegations, one step closer to potentially contesting for one of those playoff spots.
Yeah, one step closer, and it was a very convincing win, considering these teams are 1 win apart from each other. That did not look like 2 teams who were 1 point apart in the standings. That looked like a very convincing win there from Bulldog, and that now puts them up there, chasing up to the likes of Enclave, who are currently in 4th spot. So we'll see how their game goes later, because things could shake up a little bit more. Anyway, it's time for us to throw to a break. When we're back, we'll have an interview with one of the players or coaches. The top lane, we'll have an interview with Coates. See you in a bit.